Hi.
Ain't no rest for the wicked, chatters there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you all doing? I hope you're all doing well. Welcome, Tommy Raiders. Today, I have in store for you a pretty fucking cool stream. Thank you for coming over. I absolutely, by the way, was correct on who Walter White was. I fucking knew it. Tommy just DM'd me who Walter White was, and I fucking knew it. Molly May, thank you for the tier 1. I appreciate it. Anyway, let me just mute my phone a second because it's still on ring. Guys, tellers, I absolutely won't be telling you in fear of losing my... Tommy deleted the message. That's how I'd rather maintain my career. Either way. Guys, today on this stream, I have a fun one for us. You guys... with the hashtag JackManifoldDating on Twitter.
JackManifold moment.
Thank you. James isn't funny. Anyway, I'll read the subs in a second. Let me explain the stream first. You have been tweeting at me with hashtag JackManifoldDating on Twitter. Your dating profiles, any screenshots, videos you are willing to share. And now, as a man who's never installed a dating app and, well, is known for his ability to date, as I won one love or host out of the 5 I ever went on. Well, I suppose I had my own, which technically... no, I got hosted. I still lost. Guys, the point is, I am an expert, all right? I don't need credentials to be one. So, given that that is the case, I'm going to be reviewing your dating profiles. They call me the Rizzler at the end of the day. I'm going to be reviewing them and letting you know what they need to be better. I'm going to give you an out of 10 rating. You know, that's basically what it is. Either way. Let me just thank some subs before we get started. Do bear in mind that there is going to be an ad at the top of the hour, every hour on this stream. And this is actually a 2-part stream because if you do stick around after we've done reviewing Tinder profiles, we are going to be playing my favorite, or it's not my favorite game. Portal 2 is my favorite game. But we're going to be playing Portal because Nvidia have been so kind as to send me a brand new RTX 4090, which are really fucking hard to get a hold of, because my graphics card was breaking, the one I usually stream with. So thank you, Nvidia, for sending me that. We're going to be playing Portal to show off the technology. I promised them I would. However, let me just explain no Riz. Fuck you! Before you start saying no Riz, let me at least review a couple of profiles. Prove to you that actually I do have game. Because if so, why would Tommy in it have to say, don't fall in love with him every single time women meet me? It's because I'm charming and my Riz is unspoken. Either way, please. Guys. I made a deal with Nvidia. They said to receive a free graphics card, I was going to have to play Portal on stream for an hour. Portal 2 is my favorite game of all time, and I've played Portal 1 a good few times as well. It's one of my favorites, obviously. They're pretty similar. I made the deal. They said I have to play an hour worth of Portal, but Portal's actually quite a short game. So, the goal when we play Portal is, I want to do as little sponsored content as possible because no one likes hashtag ad. However... if I managed to, they said play at least an hour of the game, but I made the deal that if I manage to beat Portal in less than an hour, then I don't have to do any more sponsored content. If it's less than an hour, it's less than an hour. You want me to sit in the loading screen for a bit longer? So we're going to be trying to speedrun Portal a little bit too, after we've done reviewing Tinder profiles, but that's for a little bit later. Either way, let me play Where's an appropriate song for this? Where's Dating Star? That's a good Undertale song for this. Guys, we thank some subs, and then we're going to get right on with the stream. Black Pudding and Chips, thank you for the Prime. Thank you to Corey for the 3 months. Thank you to Dak Ken's Kex for the Prime. Druido, thank you for the 8 months. Thank you for the gifted sub. Gabby, Pyramid, thank you for the 14 months. Happening Ha, thank you for the 2 months. I really do appreciate you all.
Ayo.
Anyway, Ayo. Let's look at this hashtag. So, in front of me, here is the first profile on the list. Let's give it a look. Now, I think this is Hinge. I don't know dating profiles too well. This looks to be Hinge to me, I think. Let's give this person's dating profile a look. First thing, selfie. Fine. You would expect that. The pronouns is dropped.
8 months with
That's good. Bonus points. Saves any questioning at the start. People know straight off the bat. I mean, it is a feature of the app, so you'd kind of expect to use it, to be fair. So, using they, them pronouns. Something that's special to me. Who is this man in the dress playing the guitar? Who is that? I don't recognize them. Can you send them in? Yeah, just tweet them at me. Hashtag JackManifoldDating. Wilbur. I don't think that's Wilbur. I don't know. Youngblood. I don't think that's Youngblood. If it was, they'd be getting negative points. Fuck Youngblood. Spit on the crowd. Also, look, as someone who is like mostly northern, right? If you have to be like, I'm fucking Youngblood, mate.
Hello, Mr. Manifold.
We get it. You're northern, bro. Get a grip.
It's free.
Twitch Prime is 3. You should use it. I don't fuck with Youngblood. I'm sorry.
Hello.
Isn't it Field Medic? Isn't that one of the classes in TF2? I fuck with TF2 either way. Where'd the music go? Hello? Oh no, it just ended. Something special to me. The Halo franchise, meteorology, music. Halo franchise is cool. Meteorology is probably quite interesting. I'd like to ask someone about meteorology. Music's always good. Green flags. Are you gonna play it? You didn't play it? Bailey, I want to know. What are your green flags? All right, minus points for not playing it to me. What's this? I'll pick the topic if you start the conversation. How American punk, alt rock, and indie pop rock are inherently linked and have influenced each other over time. The problem with that is that's quite complex conversation, and I wouldn't know how to engage with it because I don't know. I don't know.
2 years.
Yo, 2 years. Thank you, Coding Fate. Appreciate it.
You're doing good, JackManifold.
Doing very well, thank you.
_carrot.
Thank you. But yeah, I wouldn't know. Like, it's not a bad topic. I think the problem there is that like you got to be dating like musicians because like I think like 80% of the people you date just wouldn't know, and I think that's a problem maybe. Either way, all fine. They're from Loveland. Oh, that's bonus points, bro. You're dating someone from Loveland? Oh, come on. Absolutely, that's bonus points. They're from literally the land of love. That's bonus points. That's bonus points. Plus, they're fucking bilingual. That's sick. German's a fucking hard language as well. Hold hand, kiss, spend time? Yes or no? Tell me right now. Okay, they're looking for a long-term relationship. That's fine. And they're fuck with monogamy. I get that. I'm a monogamy fan. Who wore it better? What? You're the only one wearing it. They're the only... I don't get it. They wore it. Oh, whatever. Okay. They met a redneck. Cinnamon rolls. That's pretty cool. Get someone who looks at you like... Okay, one thing you should know about me is I'm autistic and don't know how to talk about... what to talk about, so make them up as awkward weird. I also pebble gifts, so be prepared for cookie batches and small trinkets. The pebble gift stuff is sweet. And the autistic thing, I'll be honest... Best, I think... Look, I'm not an autistic person. I don't believe. As much as the internet likes to say I am. I do not know. But... Let me say this. If I was autistic, I feel like the best way of going about like letting people know is to just let them know off the bat. Because like I feel like it's something you probably should tell people off the bat when dating, right? I don't know. Like I don't know whether it's like a responsibility thing or just a kindness thing, but like, you know. But like the Pebble Gifts thing's sweet. I like that. I like that a lot. Are you a cat person? Because that's a cat. Okay, let's review. Selfie. All right, straight out. You know, now we know what you look like. That's always good. Dress person. Good topics. Minus points for that. Minus points for that one. It's not a necessarily bad topic. I just don't know how many people could actually engage with it. Being from Loveland is bonus points. Bilingual's huge. This video just makes me feel a bit weird, but nothing wrong with you. You just look a little bit like you look a bit like my friend's mum, like a younger version, but my friend's mum. And it just I kind of went, I wouldn't want her to look at me like that. Nothing wrong with you, just a personal sort of thing. No offense, you know, I really don't. I mean it in the most positive way. I assure you, she's a beautiful woman, but just not someone it'd make me feel awkward. You know, I have a pregnant girlfriend, guys. Come on. Either way, Bailey, an 8 out of 10 profile. I think it's pretty good. It's pretty good. The only issues I take with it is the kind of like, I just don't know how easy it is. There's some things that are a little bit niche and difficult to engage with. Like there's something that's special about me. Like I don't know who this is, but like I could ask, and that's like cool. That's cool date conversation. I mean, but like this is like, I could ask you and you could explain it to me, but I feel like that's just a little bit too niche. It's a little bit too niche. I feel like with dating, even if you have niche interests, you got to keep the topic of it surface level. Unless you really want to meet someone with the same specific niche interest. Unless that's your goal in dating. I don't know. But generally, I'm saying 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 profile. Let's move on. This is just a picture of Shrek, but like yassified. This is like, I don't know what you want from me. 6 out of 10. It's kind of funny. No, you know what? No, it isn't. 3 out of... Like, honestly... Would I fuck this? Yes. If I saw it on Tinder, would I swipe on it, though? Probably not. That's... Like, I'd instantly assume this is some sort of weird catfish, you know? Regardless of its beauty. So that's like a 3 out of 10 for me. Again, this is just the exploding brain warthog. This, however... If I saw this as the picture on Tinder, I would be likely to swipe. So this is a 6 out of 10. It really depends where the conversation goes from there. But I'd find this quite funny. The Shrek one, look. I feel like Shrek is like meme humor for people who aren't actually that into the meme humor. It's a very surface level sort of thing. Where Warthog exploding brain is quite funny. I'm going to say like that's a 6 out of 10. What else have we got? I think this is Bumble. This is a Bumble profile. Let's have a look. Maya. 18, she, her. Brand rep. No idea what that is, but it sounds pretty cool. Goes to college. That's always a bonus points. It's meant to be if you're in a band. Plenty of young guys in a band. And plenty of young guys on dating apps who love to brag about being in a band. So ultimately, look, whether it's for you or it isn't, it's probably going to work for you. So I'm giving you bonus points there. There's so many dudes. Like, if you're a young dude... Every young dude is like, by the way, I'm in a band. And like, it starts out cool. You're like 18 to 20, that's sick as fuck. You're like 25 to 30, it's less cool unless the band is popular. If you're in your 40s, people might judge you. I feel like that's what happens. It's giving loaded diaper. Yeah. Like, Roderick's cool now, but if he was 35 and balding, you'd think less of him. You know what I mean? And like, I hate to like get to 50 and it's cool again. No, but absolutely. Because one of my friend's dads is like 60 and he's still in a band. And like, then I'm like, oh, it's cool. But like, you know, I don't know. I feel like if you're like in your like early 30s and in a band, people judge you for it. Because people seem to think you're clinging on to your youth. Where if you're just like old and in a band, it's like, oh, you know you're old, but you don't give a fuck. Like, then it becomes cool again. That's like, it's like a parabolum. Like, coolness of being in a band, like, starts here, and it dips, and then it goes back up again. Either way, you're a younger person, so, you know, it's good for you. That's a Bluey hat. Bluey's very popular right now. I don't understand why. As far as I'm aware, my aunt's a childminder, and I went to see my aunt the other day, and Bluey was on the like TV and like the it's not a nursery, but like the bit of her house she has converted to be like where she. If I say keeps the kids, it sounds wrong. But like the kids are. I don't know how to word this. All right, it's her job. But everyone fucks with Bluey, and I don't really know why. That isn't Bluey himself. He's not blue. But you know, a pro and con of Date Me is I know a lot about Harry Styles. No, I like that. I think that's a little bit of humor there. Because you see, let me explain this. My bad. Bluey is a girl. My bad. I've never watched Bluey. My bad. I didn't know what Bluey was. My bad. This is what I mean. Either way. I like this caption, the pro and con of dating. Because the thing is, guys, now, subtly, this is a little bit of a humor. Because, I don't know if you could tell, but actually, they've only listed one thing, and yet it's asked for a pro and a con. Meaning that they actually, like, it's a little quirky, like, this is a good thing, but also a bad thing, but it's not too cringy with it. It's kind of funny. Sometimes that could be cringy, but I think it's okay when you did it. My real life superpower is my 5-star Uber rating. That's an attractive feature of a person. I used to have a perfect 5-star Uber rating. I used to brag that shit all the time. You know what my Uber rating is now? Because of drunken nights out with Kit Wisp. I'm blaming him. 4.86. 4.86. The perfect 5-star Uber rating is huge, but no. But overall, 5-star Uber rating is huge. Look, I'm going to say it. Enjoy Bluey. Enjoy Bluey all you want, and I'm not going to judge anyone. I never would. I don't know if I find it a little bit cringy.
You're the coolest Jack Manifold. I hope you know that cubed carrot.
Like, my nan, like, right. And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying adults can't enjoy kids' TV shows. I'm not saying that. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it.
Jack in chat.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you as well. Now, I'm not saying it's inherently bad to enjoy young, like, kids' shows, right? When my grandma used to come and babysit us, when my mum used to work, my nan used to love watching Kit Butowski. We'd eat our dinner and she'd sit and watch Kit Butowski while we were eating. Like, because we'd be watching Disney XD, but she'd be like fucking with, like, she loved Kit Butowski. And that's fair. You're allowed to enjoy those things. But I feel like making it a personality trait, like, right, like, this is how I see it, right? As an adult or an older person, enjoying children's television is a weird thing. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's uncommon. And I feel like when you make it your personality, it's one of those things where you're like, look at me, I have a quirk. Look at me, I'm a little bit like, you know, and I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know, I'm just saying. It's like a brony thing. Enjoy My Little Pony all you want. I just think when you make it your personality, it makes me cringe a little bit. Just a bit. No judgment. I'm just saying what I feel. This person hasn't necessarily said they enjoy Bluey, by the way. They're just wearing the hat. But I'm going to take points away from you because this is a stream where I pass judgment. That's the whole point. Like, sorry to pass judgment, but you literally gave me this to judge. So I'm going to. So, honestly, college is kind of cool. You know, I mean, picture of being at a gig. That's kind of sick. Gigs are cool. You know, you're showing a little bit of humor. It's like a 7. It's like a 7 out of 10 profile. It's good. It's a good profile. You got some good going on. It's a bit above average. You know what I mean? You go school. That's always like appealing to some people. You know, that's going to attract the right guys. This page I have an issue with mostly, and the 5-star Uber rating is pretty good too. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say a 7. I'm going to say a 7. There you go. There you go. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? What is this? Kiara, thank you for the prime.
HII Jack. Hope you have a good evening.
Who is this? Is this a character I should recognize? Like, should I recognize this funny little character? Rain39 loves ringing tower bells, pointing out planes. But, like, that's clearly a photoshopped on a head. I don't... Some people clearly get it. It's J-Schlatt. Based. No one... Absolutely no. Everyone... Some people are clearly... Some people clearly get it and are refusing to explain it to me, and that makes me feel even worse. He looks like a minion. No, but it looks like this is Mini-Me's body from Austin Powers. It's appealing to go to school. Right, my bad. I've realized how bad when I said it's appealing to go to school sounded. So I'm going to quickly make sure that I've cleared that one up. I mean, like, go to a university as an adult. You know, like, be in education. Or, like, you know, basically having prospects is a good thing. I feel like, to the person that called that out in chat, thank you. Thank you. You know, I needed to save face like this. You absolutely called me out. When I said that, let's just put that to rest now. You know, being an of-age adult who has prospects and goes to university or college. That's what I meant. Sorry, that should be specified. You're absolutely right. Thank you to that chatter who pointed out that that problem, because that could have been a problem. Yeah, no, I don't get this joke, so it's a fucking 2. The guy isn't, like, he's not unattractive, I guess. You know, so I'll give him that. There you go. There you go. Alright, let's have a look at this. Greta, sick name. I like that name. Lives in the Void, which I'm not sure about that one. That would put me off. I'd be scared of someone who lived in the Void, I think. But Greta's a cool name, so I like that. Most of you are red flags. However, that is my favorite color. Now, girlie, let me give you some advice. I don't think... And I'm not... Look. I don't think you are going to attract yourself the right type of person. I don't know what you're into. Girls, guys. I can't think of a rhyme. I was trying to think of a non-binary rhyme, but all I could think of was people with nothing between their thighs. But that's just the whole, like, gender genitals adage, and that's not very good. So I can't really think of... I was really trying for something, but I really couldn't come up with anything. It came out... I don't mean that. You can have a penis and be non-binary. It doesn't really work. I was really trying, though. Oh, it's an Amesy quote. Alright, that definitely makes it worse. I was going to say, you're going to attract the wrong type of people with that. You're definitely going to get some, like, bad boys and shit in there. You know what I mean? But apparently it's an Amesy reference. So... I don't know. It's the thought that counts. Thank you. I really did want to include you guys. I just couldn't think of, like, a rhyme, sadly. But yeah, no, I mean, the fact that it's an Amesy reference, honestly, it makes it significantly worse. Let's find it. You've got your star sign linked in college. As we said, that's good. I don't want children. Fair enough. Looking for, still figuring it out. What does that mean? What does that mean exactly? Like, you don't know what you're looking for? Like, whether, like, it's just a hookup or, like, INFP? A lot of people like that personality, but I'm an ENFT? No, ENFP? What am I? What am I? I think I'm an ENFP. I used to be an ENTP. Yeah, I'm an ENFP. I'm an extrovert. Dog. What do you mean, dog? What do they mean, dog? Like they got that dog in them? Is that what that means? I mean, hey, I respect that. They got that dog in them? I respect that. Drinks socially on weekends. Smokes. I mean, hey, at least you're honest about it. Music, Netflix, bar hopping. I mean, hey, again, this is all pretty honest. Yeah, I respect the honesty of this. And they got that dog in them. However, this... Can I be honest? Oh, there's another... Sorry, there's another picture. That goes kind of hard. That goes kind of fucking hard. I won't lie to you. That goes kind of hard. That goes... The fucking Pitbull picture goes hard. Mr. Worldwide. That, yeah, okay. Can I... I don't like the quote. Because the thing is, all right, it's an AMZ quote, and I was being harsh before when I said that knocked you down points. I love AMZ. Yeah, it's just a little joke of mine. However, I do genuinely believe that's going to attract some shitheads, bro. That comment, because not everyone on fucking Tinder knows AMZ, right? Like, so that's going to attract some shitheads. You know. Also, my bad, but what's that flag? Is that Bulgaria? Bulgarian flag. Shit, no, it's not. What flag is that? Hungary. That's it, Hungary. Hungarian. I respect the better in person. I'd put myself in better in person category. I'm shit at texting. Vaccinated? You know what? You know what? There's a lot of honesty here. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. It was going to be like a 7 again because this shit's going to do you no favors. Absolutely. But then, Mr. Worldwide, I think that's going to bring in some good people. I think a lot of shithead vain dudes will be put off. Again, I'm being a bit heteronormative here. I'm just assuming dudes. I don't know why. But like dudes, I can speak from perspective of dudes a bit better. That's why. Like real vain dudes will be put off by this, I think. So, you know, being dressed up as Pitbull is going to help. Let's have a look at this one. A good collection of pictures. I don't know what dating app this is, but, you know, it's fine. Good little collection of pictures. This is a really cool one. I fuck with this. This is a sick little picture. Corpse merch, like it. Nice little pictures. Music fanatic. Talking about your favorite artist album. Also a fan of plants and gaming. The rest you'll have to find out. Wink. Clever. Oh, it's not in English. I was really confused. I'm like, what's an interesses? Skincare, singing, sushi, Spotify, bubble tea. Oh wait, no. Singing sushi. Singing and sushi are one word. There's no. You notice how there's no comma? Guys, please tell me this means star sign, because I would really prefer it. I think the English should take some fucking advice from the Dutch if their star signs are waterman. I would understand star signs so much better if they were dumbed down into terms like waterman, fireman, earthman. Waterman is Aquarius. That's so good. Right, but you're getting bonus points for having I like that. That's fun. The Avatar. Fucking Avatar way of Waterman. Okay, well, I would love to hear about your interest in singing sushi, because I've never once learnt that. Never once learnt what that is. So, already, that gives you some bonus points. Nice pictures. That picture's really gas. Good collection of pictures. You know what I like? Some more candid ones and some more like posed ones. I think that's always a good blend. I think it's good to throw in a couple of you just be having fun with your friends. You know, I genuinely believe this. Let me and for a second I'm gonna call back. And I know people tell me to stop talking about this because it's misleading. But I think to the beautiful face of my pregnant girlfriend who recently actually gave birth to she's not pregnant if she gave birth. Either way. I think back to all the moments I've spent with her, amongst her friends, and seeing her beautiful smile when she doesn't even know I'm looking, is a much more interesting look than, you know, if she, you know. What I'm saying is, she's pregnant again. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, she's pregnant again, guys. I hate the people that like don't look like they get the joke. Either way. Me saying it like there is a joke, and the joke isn't just that I am lying. But either way, just looking at someone's like, if I was, oh, you know what? I can't be. You know what? I can't be fucked to lie. Right? I can't be fucked to lie. Right? Here we go. I can't be fucked to lie anymore. I do not have a pregnant girlfriend. Anyway, guys. Either way. takes this whole pause. I don't have a pregnant girlfriend. Either way. The point I was trying to make. What? Everyone just saying what? Sorry, my brain is buffering today, bro. Did you see me? I paused for a second there. You broke up with her? Yeah, that's it, guys. We got a divorce. Guys, she's taking my kid. My beautiful Holly Hartwell Manifold. She's taking her away. You were right. Apology video. Right, anyway. Holly Hartwell Manifold, I know, bro. With tears. Either way, the point is I was trying to make before I got horribly distracted is that I believe genuinely that with dating profiles, the best thing to do is like to mix in like more posed pictures where, you know, you look in your damn best, and pictures where you're like candidly with your friends or just like actually smiling, because there's nothing more like, you know, when you care about someone, looking at them actually smile, they've never looked more beautiful. You know what I mean? That's a real thing. So either way, good blend of pictures is what I'm saying. A lot, you know, like posed ones, candid ones, you know, that's what I'm saying. And then I like the waterman. This is, you know what? I'm going to say it. 9 out of 10 music profile. That, you know, this is really cool. The rest you'll have to find out. It's a cheeky little comment. I like it. A 9 out of 10 profile. A 9 out of 10 profile. A very good dating profile. A very, very good dating profile. Okay. Let's give this a look. Give this one a look. We don't know whether this will have audio, so I'm just going to crank this down a second. Okay. Oh, there is audio in this. Okay. Let's pause the music.
Hello, from me and my pet.
Hello, your pet.
Mm-hmm.
You
My
better...
cat uses me as a bed.
Okay. Oh, wait. Disney adult. Are you a cat person because there's a cat? Okay, well this is gas. Like, admittedly, like, mine's right behind me, right? Like